Hi, welcome to another edition of I Dig Day Trading. It's Friday, August 7th, 2020 at 1:30 in the afternoon. Didn't do any trades today. Felt like shit today, but had a pounding headache, but managed to at least do some studying, so that was good. I did do a trade yesterday with ADTX, and I watched OPTI. In the last video, I talked a lot about OPTI. Excuse me. So why don't we start off there? So OPTI, I watched and almost engaged in a trade yesterday. As I said in the last video, it was something I was interested in because they had issued some news about some new scanning technology about people's temperatures and scanning, facial recognition type technology to see if people are mask compliant, a very big brother type concept, but unfortunately, this is what people are looking for, and they're pitching it to the education sector, which of course is a big question on how they're going to reopen the schools, and these are the kind of technologies I think they're probably considering using. So for 3 days, it was going up and up. So I figured, okay, this is going to be a good candidate for a dip, a panic, because it's overextended. And I looked, the CEO, so right here, it closed on, we'll get to the CEO in a moment, it closed on Wednesday pretty strong at like 14 cents. This is something I started watching the beginning of the week where it was at 9 cents. And of course, the week prior was at 2 cents. A fairly sketchy company. I looked at their website. I always laugh when the websites list the people that are in the company. Some of them don't even do that. But these guys did, and no faces to any of the names. I'm always wary of that. And then right here, so yesterday in the pre-market, so we're talking like around around first thing in the morning, around 4 a.m. ish. Yesterday. I'm sorry. The CEO has issued like this press release about how to make schools more, safe for reopening. And it included a YouTube video of this temperature and facial scanning recognition. They only showed the temperature part of it. They didn't show the facial. And I watched it, and I was kind of like, I've done videos like this before where I've helped companies, do startups, do little videos to demonstrate their products. And, I'm not saying I ever did this, but I've had owners of companies ask me to do this to kind of fake it. Like, because I watched the video and it's like people are walking through and the things like saying, you're okay. Oh, alarm, you have a temperature. I mean, you can totally do all this in post-production editing, However, I watched the video, wasn't that impressed, but evidently it was getting pumped on Twitter. People were getting all excited about it. So in the pre-market, this is an over-the-counter pink slip, I guess is what they call OTCPK, which means it's not listed on the main exchanges like the Dow and the NASDAQ and the S&P 500. It's not to say that they're illegal, but a lot of shady companies reside on this exchange. And from what I understand, for a lot of over-the-counter stocks, they don't trade in the pre-market. That's why you see this flat line. So I found it very odd that, and I was watching this, and I kept coming back in pre-market to take a look at it because in level 2, here, I'll just pump this up a little bit here. That lets me. Well, anyway, in level 2, they basically show orders getting stacked here and there. Man, I wish I could show you a little bit of level 2. No, that's level 1. I'm so sorry for the delay on this. Do it like that. So here's a level 2. Now, of course, this is level 2 dealing with what's going on right now. You'd see things stacking here and there, the bids and buys, but nothing too significant. And all of a sudden, 10 minutes before they open at 9:20 in the morning, the level 2 starts showing bids and asks, like going from, this thing was closed at what? At 14 cents or something? And all of a sudden, the bids and asks were going up 15 cents, 16 cents, 17 cents, 18, 19 cents. And I'm like, okay, that's interesting. Because I don't know if Twitter had anything to do with it, but people were like going nuts about it on Twitter. But okay, fine. So I'm thinking, like, does that mean that, like, at the open it's going to spike up to 19 cents, which it did. However, 10 minutes before the open, they started trading, and I'm like, wait a minute, I thought these things aren't allowed to trade, between in the pre-market and extended hours. So that kind of faked me out, and I was like, and when I went to the chat room today, there was a webinar, and I asked the gurus there this question about this anomaly with level 2, because we were talking about level 2, and it was funny. They said, this like thing came up saying, because there's a moderator, and said, you're not authorized to ask that question. That doesn't mean I'm asking a shady question. It's just they probably just didn't feel like asking it. But as you can see, you can even see it on the chart. Like, I'm going to zoom in a little bit more. You can even see it right here. Right here. Look at, 9:20 in the morning. I'm totally was on the ball. 17 cents. Then at like 9:23, 18 cents. And then at 9:29, 18.77 cents. So I watched this, and I was waiting for a panic, and it didn't really happen. It happened late in the day, which by that point I decided to shut down, and I had other things to do that day. So, I watched this, and I watched it hit 17 cents, and I just really wasn't confident on like how far it could go. I wanted to go further, and then it went up from 17 to 19 cents, and then it dipped even further at like starting at like 9:50 in the morning. It dipped even down to 15 cents and got up to as high as 18 cents, which would have been a better dip and bounce. And then this was the dip and bounce of that day. I mean, look at that. At like 3:10 in the afternoon, it just massive panic actually, and hit almost 10 cents, and then it bounced up to I'm sorry, I'm like blank, 14 cents. I mean, 10 cents to 14 cents. That's a pretty dramatic jump. So anyway, that's OPTI. Still going to keep watching this. This could even panic further, I'm thinking. Now, the other one, the one that I placed a trade on was ADTX, and this was a Corona play. And so let's just go to it, ADTX. So with this one, this was interesting. This one I was alerted in the chat room, and OPTI I found on my own. ADTX was alerted to me in the chat room, and I decided to, it alerted early in the chat room, so I decided to watch it because, I mean, look what it did in pre-market yesterday. It was at $4.42. They made a news announcement that they're introducing a new drug for COVID-19. They're in some various stage with the FDA with it. People went bananas for it, And what's interesting about these press releases from these companies that are trying to create drugs or therapies or technologies that can help in the fight against COVID, some of them are just highly technical press releases that don't say much, but yet people get excited about them. Yet on the other hand, sometimes there'll be a really good news piece about a COVID-19 play, and it doesn't generate as much excitement. I don't know if that's just the way it goes. So anyway, this news piece came in at almost 8 in the morning, and it immediately shot up within 7 minutes from $4.44 to $10. $10.40, with the over 100% jump. And then in the pre-market, went down, all the way down to $6. No, I'm sorry, yeah, $6. So I watched this, and it had a little drop in the beginning immediately. I thought it would actually just jump high out of the gate, but it went down to 570, and then it spiked up, right? And then it halted, right? And what I understand about halts is this is on the NASDAQ, and I guess when you're on the NASDAQ, you're on a kind of exchange like that. They do a lot of these circuit breaker halts when things just jump too fast in price one way or the other. From what the over-the-counter ones don't do it for some reason. Something I've just been learning recently. So then at 9:41 they resumed trading, and it spiked up a little bit, and then it started to crash again to 620. And I had my finger on the trigger button on this one because I was thinking, like, man, if this thing is spiking and they halted it. So I waited, and then at 9:50 it spiked up again from 650 to 742, like $1, like in a minute, and it activated the halting mechanism. So it halted a second time. This time, from what I learned from the last time I got in a halted trade, I thought I'm going to get in on this, because last time I got in on a halted trade, I was in it in the beginning. I watched it halt 3 times, and I still held it. And on the third halt, it collapsed, or after the third halt. And so this is the second halt. So at about 9:59 in the morning, I got in on the trade at $8, somewhere in there, $8, and literally 2 minutes later, at 10:01, I traded it at 8.49 and made 6%. The reason why I did that was because as soon as I put a bid in for $8, it dropped down to 750. But it was erratic. It was so erratic. It was going 750, 780, 720, 790. I mean, it was just, this is why they halt, because the algorithms can't keep up with the volume. Volume, of course, was crazy. So I made 6% on that, and then it died down to 670s, which made me feel good. But then, of course, I made it back up again later in the day at 10:35 in the morning. Made it all the way up to $8.81. Halted again. This thing they halted. I don't know where. I mean, this spike right here. This is 1 minute, 2 minutes. In 2 minutes, it went from 775 to 885. So it's like it likes to halt, like I think on these dollar jumps for this particular price stock. I don't know if that's an exact science, but gauge on the last couple halts, that's what they did. Got up as high as 958, but you had to be quick. And now it's just kind of consolidated. Now, today, what did it do today? Because I've been kind of out to lunch today because I was sick, kind of headache and all that stuff. It's so this is today. This is pre-market. It panicked. It dropped from 667 down to $6, and then got up, $6 to 640. Not too impressive. And now it's been fading. And I'm sorry, I didn't even look at OPTI to see what it's doing right now. So let's go back real quick to that. OPTI is fading, but it's still up high. It's still up very high. I mean it's been fading. Yeah, it's been fading. So it's up high. This is something to check on Monday because these two press releases. I think the second press release from the CEO about the video, the technology. They got excited on the first press release where they generated a lot of interest and it spiked the stock. So I think they're trying to feed the publicity machine. And let's see what they do on Monday. Maybe if they release another news item, we'll see. Maybe someone will partner with them. That'd be great. And that would really spike the stock. Or they don't have any news, the company's crap, and it panics tomorrow. On Monday. So anyway, there's still time left on Friday this afternoon to see where these might end up at the end of the day. So I'll probably take a look at the end of the day to see where it's at. Thanks for listening, and I will see you all Monday. All right, have a good weekend.